All right. All right. Check one. Check two. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. With your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming at you right again and again and again for another exciting episode of the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I am gonna get jacked up on some green tea today. I'm switching up the tea, everybody. You know, with the Cannabis Coffee Hour, my whole idea was to try different types of herb, different types of teas or coffees, because those are things I do enjoy. So I have 2 bags of green tea. I went too hard on coffee. I'll tell you the whole thing. The thing about coffee, I think I do need to give it a break. Like, I was going, it was just absurd how much I could, 2 French presses a day, and then I was messing with espressos here and there. So it was like, I was riding really high, but if you smoke enough weed, it will equal out a little bit. But, so the other day I had to Google like what you do when you drink too much caffeine. And it said go for a walk. So I did that. That's what I've been doing. I cut the last, I would say 48 hours. I'll go back to coffee. I always love it. I love the smell. I love the taste. And I love doing this podcast. Thanks for coming on and listening to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I think we're at 165, I believe is the number of this episode. It's a weekly podcast. There's a Patreon. You can sign up for the Patreon and you will see the video portion of the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I don't put the videos out. There's been a few choice ones just to get the YouTube. There's a YouTube channel. There's some choice video ones, but with the Patreon, you'll be supporting me directly. And, I'm doing this, I pushed this really through the pandemic as kind of a vehicle just to be able to get on the microphone and talk for 45 minutes and smoke a little bit of herb and drink a little bit of tea or coffee. Now, this is green tea. It has caffeine. I have 2 bags. So I'm not going full on wimpy wimp. I got 2 green bags of green tea. Oh yeah. Oh, feel that just kill every fucking nasty thing in the back of your throat. I do love healthy shit, man. I do a lot of vitamins. I do a lot of green tea, elderberry. I take 2 teaspoons of that. I don't know what it is. I like the shit. I like feeling good. I always say like getting it back to zero. I like getting like when I'm just completely even keeled, and seeing reality, seeing awareness as it is. And as it is right now, I think, I just meditated for 15 minutes. I made it through. I did it kind of high. So I don't know if that fully counts, but I think it does. A lot of it, what I'm learning with meditation is just bringing awareness to the moment. And that's really all we got is the moment. And it's the trickiest and hardest thing in the world. And it's the easiest thing in the world. And that's what I do love about it. And that's the same thing with stand-up. Like, stand-up is like the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do all at the same time. I had a crazy show last night. Shout out to, what is this, man? Oh, yeah. Shout out to Whalebone Magazine and my man Seth Herzog and his dude Eddie. Whalebone it's a magazine on Long Island, I believe, but they also do, it's like the beach part of Long Island. I think it's the Hamptons. Montauk. I think it's out in Montauk, but this cat has he does like a pop-up store and he does publishings, and I think it's like mostly photography, but he did a really good issue. And then he made a little pop-up comedy show. And I did that last night. And I haven't been going out a ton, but I ended up doing like 25 minutes. I was only supposed to do 10 minutes. And I wasn't even feeling up to do 10 minutes. It was cold, wet, rainy. I'm still dodging, I still don't trust the COVID-19. I haven't caught it. I just took a test the other day. Yesterday I took a test in the morning because I was feeling a little funk. I don't know, but I think like I stopped smoking pot for a few days and things kind of went weird on me. I might have to get the medical license is maybe what I'm kind of thinking about it. I don't know. I think I use it for a lot of things, maybe to lower my blood pressure, to even keel maybe some anger, and then to also for the CBD for my joints and stuff, like just the overall feel goodness. I just have used it, all through my 20s and 30s and 40s, doing comedy, sleeping and bang. I mean, I think it's just been a rite of passage for a lot of musicians. And even, I do think manual labor, I just think in terms of healthy survival, it's kind of like a body lubricant, cannabis. That's how I see it. But you can overdo it, and, for me, but at the same time, I'm really trying not to judge people on like even vaccine status or political views. Like everything is so nuanced and down to like the finite thing, that it's hard to really, even make a call. You just gotta, that comes back to the moment. But you want to live your life in good and peace and be kind and confident and focused and all that. And that's, that's kind of my goal, is to like remove it into to such a simpler time, like where your essence just does the work. And that's, that's where I'm kind of lined up with the Cannabis Coffee Hour. So check out the podcast on Patreon, because I'm looking to buy a beat machine, and this beat machine is so popular that it's sold out for a long time and finally came available. But it's $500, and I was like, I don't know if I could throw $500 at a beat machine. So sign up to the Patreon so I'll have a killer setup. This is a great setup here. I got a great mic and Lacey, and I got a great glass one hitter and some top notch. Still got some good. I re-upped on apple fritters. Great strain. Check it out. I highly recommend. Speaking of recommending, I've been, I have completely gone nuts, and I've almost killed the songs already, man. I found this band Turnstile. I don't know. I might be late to the game or early to the game, or maybe I'm too old for the game, but I don't even know. These dudes are bad, man. I've been listening to Turnstile nonstop. Holiday, like that joint, just gets me fired up. They are like a hardcore band. It kind of has like a Fugazi Minor Threat vibe. They're from Baltimore. They come from my neck of the woods, kind of near me. I grew up in DC and then in Southern Virginia, around there. But I think they're all from Baltimore, Maryland, and one guy is from Ohio. But they're not that cheesy, but they take hardcore music, which is fun and simple and aggressive and loud. But they make it super artistic. But they also have like beats and sound effects. It's kind of like dub style reggae, but almost hip hop. Like, I don't know, some of the textures is almost like Odd Future, like in terms of like the non-hardcore stuff. Like they zoom in and out of like electronic music into like aggressive rock music, like on the song. But some of them are just straight up simple songs. But yeah, check them out, man. Turnstile. There's two songs I know well are Holiday and Mystery, and that could be like their biggest songs out there. I think they just got signed by a major. If my old ass is picking up on them, they've already been probably pretty good. But so shout out to those cats. I would like to get one of those dudes on a podcast. I definitely want to get more people. I like doing the solo ones, but I definitely want to do more, guests. I had a couple lined up, but kind of the week flew by, and just some general life issues came up. that I am a little bit late on this one, a day late, but it's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. So you have to give me a little bit of leeway on sometimes on these things. But yeah, I'm also like getting into reading right now. I am reading. I read this book, Think Like a Monk. Check that out. That's all. Like and then I got a new mindful book. But even I'm trying to get even to regular reading. So I picked up a comedian's. I do this girl's show. She's a comic, but she's originally from Ireland, and Maeve Higgins. And I've done it. I know Maeve. Hopefully we'll have her on the show. I'll ask her. But she is like blowing up right now. She's got this great book, and I saw it in Barnes and Noble. So I was like, shit, I know this girl, and she has this book at Barnes and Noble. I got to check it out. Because I think I definitely want to write a book one day. But writing is like such a discipline. And that's what I love about doing this podcast and meditating as well. Like, I do think discipline is good for you. But it is hard because you fall, you go, life is so infinite and so short all at the same time that it's easy to I think like drift to the side. You got to stare it down, but also have fun. And I had fun on stage doing stand-up the other night. Like I said, I did 25 minutes and I was wearing long johns, which was a terrible idea. I was sweating. Oh my God, I was sweating gallons, but I was having a good set, but I was still sweating gallons because they had like crazy lights on me. And I decided, because it was like way in Manhattan, like it was in the West Village, this cool little spot, and great lineup. Jeff, there was a lot of great comics on the bill. Jared Freed was on the bill. Great comic, funny. That was the dude that was before me. And so I just went in and went out. But I did like 25 minutes and I was wearing long johns, which was a really bad idea. But it definitely gave confidence in terms of like, I haven't been going that hard in the paint with doing a ton of stand-up during COVID. But in New York, I still get out, and I got to do the Roanoke Comedy Festival, which I loved. And I have been doing like longer sets. So I'm excited. Because you guys are going to be able to see me on 420. I am doing a live. This thing's going to be super pro. It's called Dynamo Kingdom. Now, the link is on my website, Rob Cantrell. But this is going to be a live comedy special with like 4 or 5 different comics and a rap battle. And it's all down. It's produced by Victor Vernado. He has one of the guys that is connected to Hamilton. He's got like a bunch of comedians that just, Marina Franklin, Joelle Nicole, myself, Seth Herzog, who works at the Tonight Show. Like, it's a cool cast of comics, and then he has a bunch of wild. And I think there's like a live gaming. I don't know. It's wild. Check it out. It's Dynamo Kingdom. But like, if you're listening to this in Brazil or Alaska, and you want to see me perform live, stoned out of my mind, at a super stoner show right in New York City on 420 on a Wednesday, you could pay like 10, 20 bucks, whatever it is, and live stream the joint. The tickets are almost already sold out. It's like a small little rock club, and it should be pretty sick. I'm looking forward to it. 420, links on my website, and it's called Dynamo Kingdom. Then I'm off to Denver. And I haven't been out there in a while. I'm doing the Comedy Lounge and then the Boulder Comedy Show, which should be fun. I'm just psyched. I'll be psyched to be out there. I mean, New York's going to be great. And cannabis has been opening up, but it's still not like super dispensaries, or there's like a lot of like underground things. But during COVID, I feel weird about going to like a super event. I do like just regular old dispensaries. But they are, when I go to Colorado's been, how long has it been legal out there for? Maybe 10 years now? Time flies. I think I performed with Reggie Watts. We did the 420 with High Times in Colorado. and did this huge show. Like, I think the first year it went legal, I think that was like 2007, 2000, maybe when did, yeah, I'll look that up later. I don't want to be a podcast that is constantly Googling stuff, even though we're all Googling stuff, but I really am making an effort not to be attracted to my phone. But I get lost in there in the Instagram and Twitter, but then it bums you out and you're like, what the fuck? And then definitely the news and all that. So I've been making an effort to just be very mindful on what kind of media I'm consuming all the time. And that's why I'm getting into books. That's why I'm excited to read Maeve Higgins' Tell Everyone on This Train I Love Them. Yeah, she's this cool Irish comedian writer, and it's a group of short essays. I read the first one, and it's like 17 pages long, and each chapter is an essay, and it's seeing America through her eyes and some childhood stories. So it's as inspiring. I find writers definitely, being a stand-up, you're always writing. But it's a different type of writing. It's short form, and it's, even when I sit down and try to write stand-up, I still get stuff, but never as much as I get if I'm on stage doing it. But I felt really natural on stage the other day, and I had a bunch of old stuff. I had some new stuff, and I just kind of went through it all. And it just felt great to be back on stage. I really think in April, once the Denver shows happen, like, I'll be touring more and get out there and get the podcast out there and definitely talk out more in the woods. Like some of the episodes I did in the park with the fisheye, like I love. I'm filming this on my fisheye lens for the Patreon, and smoking herb out of the fisheye always looks cool. Yeah, I'm excited for these Denver shows. Excited about, I just been pumping tunes, but also like doing my taxes, like all the busy work. This is kind of like busy season. Like right now, I'm kind of going a little bit on autopilot. I put up some clips on my Instagram. I'm just going to leave them there. I'm not going to fuck with it too long. And then I'm going to, do all like the little things, I'm trying to get everything back to zero, all the taxes, and get the rights and stuff to my album. Stuff is getting played. You can check out my music album that's getting played on Sirius right now. It's called Caffeinated Dope Rhymes, and somebody hit me up. I have one goofy song on there that's called Rub My Feet, and it's just like an R&B ballad where I just want somebody to rub my feet because I've been walking all day and my feet hurt. And I wrote that a long time ago, and when I was in New York, I would do it at shows. And I had a Yamaha DJ X, which is a beat machine, and I would bring that to like kind of obscure show, like weird shows, more arty shows, and I would rap over those things. Like I've always done stand-up in comedy clubs, and then I've also done like off weird stuff in theaters, and like, I do like, I like the weird arty shit, but I also like the mainstream shit. Like I think now, like labeling or doing all these subcategories of everything, even Republicans and Democrats, that's where I find a lot of the pain, is like the separation and the division. So I'm trying to kind of, for myself, removing labels, but I give, if you got to talk reality and kick it to me, you got to talk, you got to talk how you talk. But for myself, like in terms of like judgment, in terms of just, every day is a gift. Every second, like you're not who you think you are, is my new thing. Is like, we really are just a super original, organic, bubbling up from the surface motherfuckers, and then it just pops and goes away, and there's more to come, and that's always going on. So there's no reason to trip. That could have been the weed talking. but yeah, I've been doing some stretching. I've been doing some um, taking long walks. I try to get up to 10,000 steps a day. Um, and I live on the third floor. And so I go up and down the stairs a lot. So that's always good for steps. And then, but I do want to get some push-ups going again. Like I'm kind of in this, I don't know, it's the weather. It got like really good and then it got really cold. And I think that kind of like fucked up my equilibrium. And then I didn't have any herb for a couple of days. So I was like, oh man, what's going on? Am I going to be a lawyer? But then, no, it always comes back to this is what, I always wanted to be a funky fresh. I knew it was in media or this radio show was somewhere in there. The Cannabis Coffee Hour, because I love doing it. I love making the music for it. I love plugging what I like to plug and talking about what I want to talk about, which is mostly herb and comedy and music. And yeah, I can't wait to see. Definitely, I don't know why I like seeing these hardcore shows on YouTube, but I have been listening to them. But Turnstile, yeah, not all of it. Like when it's too much or like, yeah, it's like everything. Even with hip hop, I can get like if it's just too much. It's just like, or even I've been going through a bluegrass phase. You guys listen to bluegrass? I've been listening to a lot of bluegrass. It's just tones and textures that just like ease my vibe or what my vibe is feeling at that time. Got my nice glass one hitter. It's a so yeah, it's just been a wild time in terms of the weather and just is there World War III going on? I don't know. In America, it's just in a trippy zone with COVID. But then comedy is getting so damn popular. Yeah, it's a tricky thing, There's a lot of money on the table is how I look at it, like with Netflix and it's global, like it's an international scene, like the in terms of stand-up, and that's what I'm really good at. I mean, I don't say that. I mean, I don't know if I'm really. It's definitely all about the moment. But I've been doing it long enough, and it's what I've been feeling the most natural with. Podcast, I'm natural with it, but I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring out the Patreon game. If you're watching the Patreon, I took a little bit of a bathroom and somebody was ringing the door. So I got some lip stuff on my lips to get back. I've packed up my bowl. I put another, I got 3 green tea bags now and a shot of turmeric and a shot of cinnamon and some honey. That's how I'm playing around with you dudes and ladies and aliens and cats and fireflies that are all out there listening to this on the internet. The internet and the NFT and how big it is. Yeah, that's what kind of the struggle is, like that world and this world, reality and then online is where you see, like, I don't know, culture changing. But I am doing a comedy show in Manhattan tonight. Tonight is March 25th. Hopefully I'll get this up tonight. But they do this show all over the place. It's called Weeding Out the Stoned. And it's a game show where the contestants, you don't know whether they're high or not, but I'm one of the contestants and you could tell maybe I'll be the one that was kind of high during the show. But then I just got to hit up. If you're in Brooklyn, I'm doing this cool place called Scorpion Records. I'm doing a comedy show there on Tuesday. But that's like these goof around sets that I'm doing, not really for a lot of money or anything, just kind of going in and working material out. It's a process. Everything, life's a process. How it's all unfolding. How we're all processing all these new things. And then with me, it's just getting older, and I have so many friends that have died, and you know, I got a family, and I got a career, I got more and more responsibilities. But the more and more zen and the more and more simple I get, the more and more I dead my ego. That's the only way to get through it, I guess. Because you're going to take some lumps, but you keep coming. Things go up and things go down. Things have been going good for me. So I got a car, and you gotta move I don't have my own parking space, so I park it on the street. You got to move it like every week. And I didn't get a ticket for the last 2 weeks, and I didn't move it. I did it twice in a row. Like I forgot to move it because I got so much going on, and I was off a little bit, and just meaning off, like the weather was off. I had I had to turn in a big audition, and then I got taxes to do, and then I got life, and then I'm dodging COVID, and then I'm preparing for this big live stream, Dynamo Kingdom. So all of this is coming at me. So I forgot to move my car. But for 2 weeks in a row, this is crazy. This has never happened. The cops didn't give me a parking ticket for 2 weeks, and I was in the wrong. Like it was out there for like 4 hours. Like usually you're like you're a goner. Like if it's been 5 minutes, like they're hitting you up with a ticket here in Brooklyn. But for some reason, the universe just played a really cool card. So I was like, yo, I made $60. I made another $60. Because when you get a car ticket, you're like, motherfucker, I didn't need that shit. I don't get it a lot, and I was going good for a while. When I lived in LA, man, I got the boot one time. I racked up like over a grand in back parking tickets, man. LA that's me. And that was me when I was 30, 29, 30, and everybody, had the same thing. It was just a part of living in LA. You would accumulate parking tickets because there's no parking. You could drive anywhere you want, but you can't park, unless you're spending like major cash. But I am kind of fiending for California. This weather, I'm just kind of over the coldness. Like this winter just won't end. But at the same time, I had a good, cup of soup. Like, there's just those moments. The cat walked up last night after the show. So I did this show at the Whalebone show, the Whalebone magazine. It was like it was all dressed up as a banana shop. It was wild, but it was packed, and they paid me decent, and it was a good lineup and the whole nine. And but I was wearing long johns, so I was sweating my I could say balls or ass in that sentence, which I usually would. But I know you're a podcast listener. I'm trying to clean up my language a little bit. I could curse up a storm. But sometimes when I listen to myself, because I listen to myself on, stand up a lot, and I drop a lot of motherfuckers and shits and got, and not all of them. I'm like, what's going on with this kid? But it does sound good and has a good accent. And sometimes you need to put a little spice on words. Yeah, I do like cursing. Not all the time, not in front of kids and stuff like that, but on stage. I think stand up, that's one of the reasons why I like it, is that you can curse. It's the only job that is like, oh, this guy, all he does is like other jobs they do too. Like if you were working landscape, and you could say motherfucker and shit all you want. But then at IBM or Apple, or what's the new powerhouse corporation out there? Disney Plus. But I love Disney. I love these streaming services. But I haven't been watching. I still want to watch Euphoria. That's on my gauge. But lately I've been coming home because I look at my phone. I've been just more aware of like, hey, yo, I don't want to watch TV right now. But I like writing TV, and I like performing in it. So it's a weird thing. I think I just watched so much TV when I was young, and then with making videos and everything, and then doing comedy at night. That was the thing, is I haven't been out at night, so I kind of did a set in the city, as they say, and then I was coming back to Brooklyn. And it was rainy, it was cold, but then I got home, and my buddy gave me a nice bag of apple fritters I had, and it was late at night, and I just had a great sesh. I just seshed out by myself, and then the cat curled up on my lap and started purring. Not perverted style. It was like my stomach, but the cat is like mean and psycho. But it just did it, and it was just sitting there, and it was like the chillest moment I think any human being has ever had. Yeah, I'm digging living with the cat. They're not dogs, but they're pretty damn cool. Um, and the cat litter isn't like picking up dog shit. It's a little less, but it's still funky. And cat food is funky. Like when I had a cat, we never gave it wet food. We just gave it dry food. But now we're giving, 2 cans of wet food. So those things are always funking up the place. But it kind of covers up any, if I'm smelling like weed, that's nice. The birds are chirping. Yeah, the walk. The only thing, I went to the park, I timed it wrong. Like, I think everybody had the same idea. I feel like a general restlessness. And I do believe people are going out. It might go out a little too early and catch the vid. But I went out and went for a nice big fat walk, but everybody was doing the same thing. It was wild. I was like, everybody's in this park. Everybody's angst up a bit and need to go for a walk. Everybody drank too much coffee and watch too much CNN for a minute, or whatever you watch. Could be Housewives, or it could be World Star, or it could be, whatever media you're chomping down on. But yeah, thanks for listening to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I hope you chomp down or smoke down on this content, because it's coming at you funky fresh. I'm just here smoking fat bowls and drinking 3 bags of green tea with turmeric in it, talking to you live and direct from Brooklyn on a beautiful day. The sun is coming out. Spring is just around. I just need to hold it down a bit, take care of my taxes, take care of everything. And then I'll push forward with getting more guests on the podcast. But I love doing this, and I love making the music and beats. I don't know what I'm going to do on this one. It's always changing. But sign up for the Patreon. It's in the description the link is right there. Like and subscribe. Tell your mama she's the best. Or, maybe she's gone, or maybe she's not the best. Just be kind, be cool, and be confident. And I love you, and have a great day. Peace.
Trapaholics Mixtapes.
Discovering truth is not a question of intelligence. It's intelligence, no intellectual ability or intellectual intelligence. That's all. Because if it were, there's so many people with really sharp intellect. They have such skill at comprehending or going to the point. So if that was all that it took, there'd be many Buddhas who came to